Alright. That was a good recording session. Very nice. Things are looking up for me today. Okay, I'm actually a little bit worried because a lot of things have gone great for me today. The sun is good, I cooked a decent meal, it's a nice day. Let's see what's up with the gaming industry. Oh, for fuck's sake. Good evening, ladies and gents. My name is Hauzo, the bearded Balkan blabbermouth, and this is DiscussThing. Now, I have been known to have the occasional, somewhat ignorant or very hopeful opinion about things that I've been talking about, especially in the gaming industry. I've kind of probably carried some sort of hope that things might be better and have expressed that in some of my videos. I recently expressed this exact same thing about a game called The South of Midnight. Admittedly, this is a game that I am kind of partial to for one particular reason. I am a huge fan of the Deep South, of the American Deep South. This is something that I have had as a sort of an obsession with, especially when it comes to Americans, background history, not the official huge historical events, but like a cultural thing. And when you add in the music that has been played there, which is something that I'm a huge fan of, I get a little bit sidetracked with my critical thinking. I'm like more of a fanboy. That is something on me, and that is the hope that I carry about certain events. So with that absolute mindset, I actually made a video the other day about South of Midnight. In that video, I absolutely intentionally missed out and didn't speak about the racism that we have seen and that has been reported. I have said that those things in a past video, like a couple of months ago probably, and I decided to not speak about it today. In addition, there hasn't seemed to be anything new about it, about information about the game and how it progresses, and some of the updates that were actually quite good sounding have come out, and I reviewed several stories and reviewed what the Xbox deep dive went through. And I was kind of hopeful that this game is actually going to be good, and that those controversies that we had in this game were all left behind us, and we're just gonna have an okayish game. And yeah, we'll still have the stain of those things that have been reported before, but we'll still enjoy something at least decent, even though it's connected to Sweet Baby Inc. And then I saw this post. If you don't know who that is Smash JT. Very prominent YouTuber, amazing person, and someone who has been wildly trusted by whistleblowers, inside leakers, and a lot of people that have privy to some sensitive information. A lot of people have already reached out with him to a lot of different projects, and almost, if not all of the times that he was reached and he was contacted, he was sharing information that was at the time rumors or just speculations. I don't think that there has been one single time that it hasn't turned out at least majorly true, with some deviations in the best way. So here's what this post said. Man, this South of Midnight story I'm working on is huge. I've been contacted by a whistleblower about the truth behind the scenes at Compulsion Games. It ain't pretty. There's gonna be a lot of professional journalists purging out on me once again after I drop this. Don't worry, I'm used to it at this point. Yeah, that was several hours after I posted my video. I was like, oh no, this is going to be heavy. This is going to make me regret that I even posted that video. And sure enough, it did. This is the article from Smash JT. I'm not gonna waste any more time talking around it. I just wanna read through it. And I want to say something like, apart from it having some very nasty stuff, if they turn out to be true, it's so ridiculous. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, but I just want you to hear what I'm going to read and just imagine for yourself a company going the route that they're going. So let us begin. Whistleblower exposes extreme racism inside Compulsion games during development of South of Midnight. So we have dealt with some racism from South of Midnight. Community manager, I think it was Pikachulita, and I think this is in the article itself, because the article starts with a little bit of a background. Yeah, this is the video by SmashJT on that topic several months ago. This is Compulsion Games blocking SmashJT after his reporting, which is, of course, a very, very solid practice by a mainstream studio to just try and bury their head in the sand, or as I like to call it, perform the ostrich maneuver. Here he also talks about manufactured outrage, the false accusations of racist backlash. As previous for South of Midnight began rolling out, the expected narrative of racist backlash surfaced almost immediately, although any actual evidence of that kind of behavior was suspiciously absent. He said all I saw was vague claims of racism being echoed by individuals in the community without any tangible proof or evidence provided. I've watched several reviews and several videos about previous South of Midnight, and actually some of them were really based. Like, they talked about the issues, they talked about the game itself, and nothing more. No racism, no actual issues that the character was black or something else. Of course, they did just a small preview, like they didn't talk a lot about the story in the game, but we did find out that the game, it takes over one day, and the whole runtime of the game is around 12 hours, which to me is very problematic, because if it is only 12 hours and if it doesn't give you the option to play, let's say, explore and find secret stuff and go at least, let's say, 20-25 hours for $40, that's lazy in my opinion, and I will continue to uphold this position. He goes on, South of Midnight, previous are overwhelmingly positive or optimistic. Oh, this is by Cold Eastwood, by the way. But the replies from people that haven't played are either dismissive, negative, or outright racist. How fun. This is a very tone deaf thing to say, because only certain people were allowed to be into the game and have it previewed, and those people who have played only went about what they're seeing as information. I didn't see anything racist in those previews and in those threads or comments. I actually saw that some people were starting to turn around. And then we have this guy, this individual who has been under a microscope in the past few days because he says some unhinged things. Racist comments. I am shocked. Not really. The internet is filled with anonymous avatars that proudly show off their hate and racism over a video game that has a black protagonist who is also a woman and features the American South. It's the triple crown of hate. South of Midnight is fantastic. Be excited and ignore the ignorance. Just to say something on that, nobody cares if it's a black and it's a woman and it's in the South. Like, nobody cares about this stuff, especially in the deep South of America, especially when you're talking about a game like that. I actually found it, especially the first area, I found it completely on point to have a black female protagonist, because I thought this game was gonna deal with voodoo, hoodoo, and I've watched too many movies in the 90s when American, like, cultural history and movies started to come out in post-Soviet of my country. So no one actually had any issues with that. At least I did, and I didn't see anyone just speaking, oh, it's a black protagonist, how so? The only issue that they did have is when there was a rumor that the original protagonist was actually white. That was something posted by Crumbs, and there was a rumor that is actually now apparently disproven because of the new leaks, and that the actress model was white and it was changed to black. That was because that was being racist against the original actress and the original type of protagonist, just for the sake of inclusivity, and that is racist in and of itself. And that was just a rumor. Nobody cared in and of itself that the character and the protagonist was actually black and a woman. Nobody cared. They cared if she was written good, if she was written well, if she was a good character and a three-dimensional persona. Afterwards, Smash had replied, that's really unfortunate to see. Do you have any additional screenshot of the racism? We need to end racism in gaming if we're going to move forward. Thank you for bringing more attention to this, Paris. I made a video covering it as well. And yes, that's something exactly what happened. And if any racism that is unconnected to being objective to the game exists, I think it should be brought up and just ridiculed, because nobody cares. Like, racism needs to end on every side. You don't need inclusivity on any side. You don't need to have it specifically just woke forced inserts of those groups and minority, and I don't consider that a group of minority should be represented at all costs as well. And it should correspond to the environment. So that's the thing, and it should be the best thing to showcase the gamers and the people who watch it. That's how it should be. So any one of these things happening outside of those parameters, it's idiotic. And then Savvy entered the conversation and said, "Why'd you hide proof of racism?" And she had a screenshot when it shows that the comments are actually hidden. And afterwards, after those things happened, we have someone who apparently got very sick, and that's something that Smash JT says in the video. Apparently he's had enough of this and just his patience ran out. And I want to use this to just tell you that the video and the article will be posted in the description of my video, and I highly encourage anyone and everyone to go and see them, because they're amazing and entertaining, and I'm sure I'm missing some stuff out, but yeah. The Whistleblower comes forward. A whistleblower intimately familiar with Compulsion games and someone I have known for a long time and just completely reached out to me shortly after this all went down. Out of sheer frustration with the company's internal chaos and hypocritical handling of PR, they decided it was time to reveal the real truth, and that I was the trustworthy source to get this out of the mess. And that's what I'm talking about. Smash JT has proven himself to be a trustworthy person to deliver such information to, and that's something I completely respect. And this is something that makes someone respectful on YouTube and in real life, to just be absolutely integral, to not have any shady stuff happening around you and from you. And that's how you build trust, and that's how you get the information, and that's how we rebuild gaming and entertainment. According to the Whistleblower, the lead voice actress for the main character was a totally different person than the one in the final game. She was hired to voice the protagonist, but apparently she didn't sound black enough. She didn't sound black enough. Let me repeat that one more time. She didn't sound black enough. Now, in the interest of absolute transparency and for the interest of argument and just debate, there is something that when you're being a voice actor or voice actress, you might not have the right accent, you might not have the right dialect. You have different regions in every single country that have different dialects, different accents, different regional sounding, and that might be something that in and of itself someone might not bring up properly. Especially, let's say, in America, this would be like New Yorkan and, I don't know, Wisconsin or Texas, like accents and dialects and way of speaking. So basically, these two regions are different. And if you take someone from New York, he might not be presented as an authentic person from Texas. This is just a example. So when I read that initially, I was like, okay, so maybe she didn't just sound in the right accent, but sounding not black enough. Like, imagine being told that you don't sound enough of your own race. Like, this is amazing levels of racism. Like, and this is coming from people who claim to be diversity, equity, and inclusion infested, and just be all about diversity and inclusivity and everything else. And he actually says it. Let that sink in for a second. They replaced the black voice actress because she wasn't sound black enough. If that's not the definition of tokenism and racism, I don't know what is. I agree. This is like, if it was just this, and if they came out and say, okay, the dialect and the accent don't match the region, then okay, but apparently they didn't. And here we have the part where what Grooms posted, like it was a rumor, it's apparently has been disproven, and the original character was like as well. Maybe this one on the left is a different character from the game. Maybe they had some blank concept that they built upon. We don't know, but apparently, allegedly, this was just a rumor and it wasn't proven. The Whistleblower continues. Eventually they replace her altogether with the voice actress you hear now. The irony is that the people crying racism are supporting a studio that hired a white dialect coach to teach a black voice actress how to sound more black. This is extreme levels of hypocrisy and racism. This is the peak, like an absolute Mount Everest of peak tokenists and racists and all the other ists that they love to use. Like, this is basically treating someone's old culture and type of language as something secondary, and that you need a white man to tell you how you should sound. Like, in a professional environment, in an absolute professional environment, if we take this and transform it into an actual professional environment, what might have happened, or what could have happened, is that a certain black actress didn't sound in that southern region style that they have, like that specific accent, and they hired a white person who was probably from the region and who was someone who deals with accents, and he's a language expert, and he's intimately very skilled and very in his game in the industry, so he's one of the most talented people, and he could have taught that same black actress, or maybe they would have taken another black actress who is, let's say, from the region but needed just a little bit more tweaking to sound absolutely authentically, then that would have been absolutely fine. But this is when we're talking about extreme professionalism from a studio that doesn't deal with DEI and doesn't claim that they're proud members and defenders of diversity, equity, and inclusion. In this case, something like this is absolutely abhorrent. This is one of my favorite words now. Abhorrent. I probably used it more times than I can count. And without even actually reading the next part, I just told some of the stuff. It's worth a serious pause here to reflect on the extremely disturbing nature of this entire situation. Whether this decision was made by Sweet Baby Inc. or internally at Compulsion Games isn't clear, but none of that changes the fact that it's deeply problematic for some pretty obvious reasons. The studio's supposed commitment to diversity becomes extremely hollow once you realize they're willing to engage in such blatant racial stereotyping and tokenism behind closed doors. And that's exactly what I mean. Like, again, in an absolute professional environment when none of these things matter and only merit and ability and quality of the work and of the skills that someone presents matter, that would have been an entirely different situation. Nobody would have batted an eye, and everyone would be happy that the studio would be taking the most authentic stuff and inserting them in the game, so it's at the very best, like as authentic as possible to the region. That would have been the case. And I don't know, maybe their vision behind it is that this is exactly the case. However, on the outside, it looks absolutely egregious and absolutely horrible that they're doing stuff like this. So my advice, if someone from the studio actually decides to watch my videos, or someone even connected remotely, I think that the studio should absolutely reach out and address these particular situations directly. They should go out and say, no, we didn't do that, we didn't do it because of that, we did it this and this and this, and these are the reasons. And they should be absolutely direct, and they should communicate to us, the gamers, like normal people. I'm tired of studios just going around and going with coded messages with apology letters that are plastered into posters like a screenshot or something else. I actually am a fan of the Vavra approach in this case, even though I don't like a lot of his takes. I like that he's absolutely direct. If there can be people from the studios that are absolutely direct, they don't waste time to reply, they just go, no, this is not like that, yeah, okay, this is like that, we're doing it, or even apologize, that would be amazing to gamers, because in the end, we're people. We like direct, honest language. We don't like convoluted corporate language. If we did, we would be working at corporations, we would be dealing with emails all day, and we would just sit behind a computer and just waste our life away in an office. Saying this, I just described my current state of life. Yeah. Awesome. But we're not, and we want to have an honest conversations with the developers. We want to be reached out, we want to be heard, and we want to actually work with developers to give them our insights. There's a lot of us. Like, you only need to go through the YouTubers. You only need to go to the big YouTube channels that deal with gaming. You only like people like Smash JT, like Hypnotic, Dr. Disaster, like Grumps, like 8-Bit Eric, like Network, like all of these people in the YouTube industry, in like every single one of them, from the small to the bigger channels. I could probably just spend another 10 minutes saying channel names out loud, and you can contact each and everyone, and everyone will be absolutely happy to be a part of a conversation, to be a part of just telling you what we think and having the feeling that we're being heard, and for the industry to cater to us, because we're basically the ones who do want to spend our money on video games. We want to do that. We want to buy that escapism, and we gladly will if the escapism is good. And if it's not, we get angry, we get active, and we start defending the good games and calling out the bad games and the bad practices from the studios, just like now. And if any studio can actually do this, it will be great. It will be a sign of a change. And I do hope that Compulsion Studio at least do this, and at least go and contact us, or just make a public statement exactly due to that situation. And if they do, and if they explain themselves properly, I think a lot of the things might get cleared out. It might just be my hopeful self, but I choose to be like this because I do want games like this to succeed, and I do want to see good games. Even though I complain a lot, I do want to see good games, and hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, hopefully there will be some sort of development here that will go in a positive direction. If not, oh well, nothing new under the sun in those companies, right? Anyways, that's all I have for today for this video. Thank you for watching this long. If you did, if you enjoy my content, click the like and subscribe buttons, click the join button to join me directly, be part of the DiscussThing Guild, and support me on YouTube directly. And if you enjoy helping homeless animals and animals in shelters, there's a link in the description below to my Patreon page, where I get money to help those animals in need. All 100% of proceeds go completely to that cause. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Helzo, I was DiscussThing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers and stay fresh.